Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If it's Friday at 7 p.m., it's time for another Flashback Fridays. My name is Johnny Hit the Button Bottles. To my right today is Dr. Don Wayne, the neckbeard psychiatrist, psychologist. He's the guru on the internet helping talk the neckbeards down off the wall of their mother's basement. Down below, we have the Maharaja of the SCN, the magnificent Motorhead 711. If you are inclined to join the Squared Circle Maniacs faction on Twitter, look up Motorhead 711. That's where you can find him. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Oh, watched a shitty football game today. Had a little bit more turkey. Took another nap. Was pretty good.
How much
rest
pie?
of Friday. Had
pie?
two pieces of pie today. Just two.
Just two?
I just had
Last
one.
night,
I had one pecan. That was it.
Well, you're still not at dinner time, so you still got a ways to go.
That's right.
We are talking about one of the craziest angles that you can ever research because there's not a lot of clips on it. It's hard to find, and it has a lot to do with how they ran their business back then.
Of course.
Very hard to find. Well, they were regional. Yes. Regional. I didn't get it. I grew up in Maryland, and I didn't get Mid-South wrestling up there at all.
I didn't either. However, it was on the satellite dishes, and if you remember in the 80s and the 70s, them big-ass satellite dishes that people would put in their backyard, and you could get it off of that pretty easy. That and world-class championship wrestling got carried all over the world because of that. I watched a WCCW special today on WWE Network. It's pretty fascinating stuff. Talks about the Von Erichs, tragedy that it was. It also talks about how they were pilfering those signals, and the Von Erichs are like, well, that's great. We'd like to make some money off of it.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
And that didn't happen. So it was this angle took off like a bat out of hell and really put Mid-South on the map. I mean, it really did. They were a regional promotion. This made them well known in the region. And it made Junkyard Dog he was already a star. This put him to the next level.
Don, let me ask you this question. Who booked that territory? Was it Watts, or did he have another guy
Watts
taking care of it? He booked
Bill
all
Watts
the angles.
Owned it and booked it.
Cowboy Bill.
Guy was a genius back in that day.
He was so far ahead of his time, Bill Watts was. He came up with the storylines that were, ran consecutively. He came up with all this stuff. He had some great angles. The issue with Bill Watts, like a lot of promoters, cheap ass. Cheap ass.
Cheap ass cowboy.
That were in Mid-South that are still waiting for checks. We're waiting for checks from him that never got it. Exactly.
So he was the Paul Heyman of the South.
He was tighter than that, I think, buddy. Like it was. I mean, JYD left to go get paid. He is. I'm going to New York, baby.
That's right. And Bill Watts.
But Bill Watts.
He got crap from the NWA president when he made Junkyard Dog champion.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He said because he wanted to make him the NWA heavyweight champion. Yeah. And he said you'll kill the business. Nobody will ever come see him.
That's ridiculous.
Meanwhile, he's down in Louisiana as their Mid-South heavyweight champion, cleaning up shop, Superdome shows with 30,000 people. Bill Watts was so smart. He put the Freebirds together. He started the Freebirds. He's the one that put them together.
So you're saying they were three random galoots working for Bill Watts that he just said, we're going to put you guys together as a tag team.
It was actually two at the beginning. They added a third one later on.
Who was the third one they added? Hayes or Roberts?
Hayes was an original, and the big kid was original. Why are the names escaping me right now?
Terry Gordy.
Gordy was original. The third spot rotated quite a bit as they moved from territory to territory.
But then Buddy Jack Roberts found his way and settled in. I noticed during this angle he had a nice head of Nature Boy. Who was the original Nature Boy? Not Buddy Landell.
No, Buddy Roberts, wasn't it? Boy.
Buddy Rogers. Buddy Rogers was the original Nature Boy. Buddy Rogers. Buddy Roberts had a nice head of Nature Boy Buddy Rogers hair. Bleach blonde, slick back. Motorhead and I were talking about that before the whole thing started, how he had the curly hair at the end of the run of the Freebirds when he looked like he was on various substances.
You know who else Bill Watts?
Had to put it to you nicely.
You know who else Bill Watts put together as a tag team and formed them?
Who?
It's one of the most famous ones in all time. One of the most famous
the Fabulous
tag teams
ones.
of all time.
Not the Fabulous ones.
But you're close.
Lord. Not the Midnight Express.
Midnight Express. Yes, he did.
Really?
He went
Loverboy Dennis.
He went to Memphis, and they were going to do some talent trading. He got his 3 guys. He gave them 3 guys and said, "You guys are going to form a tag team." And he said, if Jim Cornette can piss me off this much just talking to me on camera, I know he's going to draw money in the South.
So it was Condrey and Doug Summers.
No,
were they the original Midnight? It wasn't Bobby Eaton as one of the originals.
It wasn't Mid-South.
Bobby Eaton was in Mid-South as part of the Midnight Express.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where it started.
I got you. Okay.
It's good shit, man. Go back sometimes, check it out. That's when Jim Cornette got off and running. That the shit he was doing in Mid-South, my God in heaven. That's when he would come out and take the microphone out of the announcer's hand, and that's when he started his whole spiel, introducing the greatest tag team in the world, my Midnight Express.
And how old was he then? 20?
He was like 20, 21. Yeah. He was young as shit.
Unbelievable. That got to be, that's studied, that's storied in the wrestling business to have the gift of gab that he had. And wasn't he just a photographer?
Yes, that's how he got started. He was a photographer.
Yeah.
Took pictures and
amazing.
sold them at the events. Yeah. Mama Cornette take him to the shows, drop them off.
Mama Cornette, yeah.
Stuff. That's right.
I will call my mama. She will send me a check. I digress, though. This story in Mid-South it starts off with a tag team match. Bottles, do you remember who was in it?
It was Buck Robley and Junkyard Dog.
Yep.
Against Hayes and Rotten. Was it Hayes and Gordy?
Hayes was on the outside.
Hayes was on the outside. It was Roberts and Gordy.
Correcto.
Roberts and Gordy. And Terry Gordy looked like, good Lord, he looked like he was the same size as the Junkyard Dog. He got taller as he wrestled.
Yeah, he kept growing. He was only 19 years old. He was a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Just Motorhead.
Huge,
how much?
Man.
How tall was he at the end of his run, Motor? Like 6'6", 6'7"?
That's what he's
Gordy.
listed at in some places. Gordy, 6'5", 6'6",
wow.
and 300 plus pounds. Just a monster beast.
He talked like this.
Oh yeah,
like always had a mouthful with Shaw.
He didn't have to say much.
Didn't have to say anything.
The whole stipulation of this was they were wrestling for the tag team belts, and Michael P.S. Hayes was going to take all the hair off of what's his name? My name is
Robley. Buck Robley.
Robley, yes, Robley. Sorry, there's Robleys and all these other guys. But Robley was supposed to get his head not shaved, but they were going to use one of those chemicals that just remove all your hair. That's how it was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to be Ted DiBiase and Robley, but they ganged up and beat down DiBiase, and he was out. He was out hurt. So he was looking for another. I saw the promo where he was looking for another partner, and he found the Junkyard Dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they lose the tag.
The posting was actually Paul Orndorff's and was for Ken Mantell originally.
Yeah. Damn.
It was so great. I just know with what I've researched on it. It's hard to find any footage on this because back then they used to use the same cassettes or rolls of tape to record shows over and over again. He comes into the ring, pours it in his hand, and as he goes to smack it on his head, JYD interferes and he smacks it in JYD's face and he gets in his eyes. Mm-hmm. And JYD starts rolling around on the mat, just screaming and howling in pain. Whole place is going bananas. The damn Freebirds get the hell out of the ring. They're out of there. Like they can hear the crowd. They know they have created something here. So they bust out of the ring, get the hell out of there. Cowboy Bill Watts was like, "Oh my God, they blinded him." And look, man, I know a lot of people like Bill Watts. That dude on a microphone, someone make him stop talking. Even in today's age, going back and listening to him then, he sounded bad then. It was horrible to hear him call a match.
The clip that I saw of this whole angle was on their Mid-South television show, Motor. They were replaying it, and he was talking over it with Buck Robley and recanting everything that happened in the ring and asking Buck what was going on at the time, how he felt.
That's the one you can find.
That's the clip.
It looked like it looked like somebody held a cell phone up to a VHS copy that was playing on your TV. It was so shitty in quality. But I tell you what,
that's Mid-South, man. That is Mid-South to a T.
Bill Watts, if you ask him what time it is, he'll tell you how to build a clock.
No shit.
Just talk. Robley couldn't get a word in edgewise.
That's right.
But, the best part of him doing that recap is when, the Freebirds come into the ring to interfere, and he goes, "Now see that right there, that would have been a disqualification in a normal match, but because these are no rules, that's allowed." I was like, dude, we get the rules, man. Like, even then, we got the rules. No disqualification. We get what the hell that means, Bill Watts. Good God, son.
At least he got that shit over with the fans and with the crowd. He really did.
Huge.
Watts did. He was incredible in the interviews with talent, like the angles he would get into, interviewing people like Cornette and all that. He was game for anything. Watts was, but he did have diarrhea of the mouth when doing play-by-play. It was pretty.
He couldn't stop. It was just terrible.
Who was his announcer? Motor, his regular announcer. Because he was the play-by-play guy, and then you had a guy sitting next to him doing the.
God, my brain! I drank too much yesterday.
Because the best thing to happen to that
it'll come to you. You think about it, it'll come to you. Go ahead.
It will.
The best part of that was when they finally let Jim Ross take over the color commentary. That's the best move they made, and they did it too late because he was on his way out the door.
He was young then, too. He was a referee. He started out as driving a drink truck, all that. Every dirty job you could think of, he did. And Mid-South breaking in.
Oh, yeah.
Why can't I think of this guy's name either? What the hell's his name?
He probably held a piss bucket for Bill Watts while he was sitting at the announce desk.
I've heard that it was something like that.
Yes. Bill Watts would piss in a small trash can at the announce table. And also, when he was head of WCW
Boyd
at the
Pierce.
time.
That's it. I was just going to say Boyd Pierce.
There. And Larry just said it as I put my head up.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry. Anyway, what made this angle so great was, and it's not going to be a long show, I don't think, because there's just not a whole lot of meat on the bone, but it was so great because JYD stayed in kayfabe the whole time. We're talking about, it was like a 2-month build, I want to say, till they got to the Superdome to have the match.
Wasn't long. You're right. Wasn't long.
But he had on glasses all the time. He had on an eye patch. And there was one, they talked about how in his world, he would draw the shades closed so that you couldn't see inside of his house to see when he had taken off of his glasses. Yep. That's how into this whole angle he was. It got to the point where he was having his baby. And everybody knew he was having his baby, and they brought that into the match. And he's sitting there, he's like, "Look at my brand new baby girl. Look at my baby girl over here." And his wife comes in and goes, and the look on his face was just devastating because it hit you at home that he couldn't even see his brand new baby girl. It was just like, we got to get a hold of them son of a bitches, the Freebirds. We gotta hang them out to dry. This is just wrong, man. And they had heat, man. They had death threats against them over this.
Absolutely. So go ahead.
There was one not long after the stuff happened with JYD where he got blinded, where there was actually a guy at one of the matches, somebody in the audience that said he had a gun and he had a bullet that had Freebird engraved on the bullet just for one of those guys because of what they did to Junkyard Dog.
And if it's not true, I don't care because it sounds great.
Hell yeah.
I saw an episode of Legends today on YouTube that had Michael Hayes talking about this angle. He said that when JYD was out, the Freebirds still wrestled. But in all their vehicles, they made a mistake the first night after he was out. When they went to the arena, they came out, their tires were slashed, all the windows, every piece of glass was busted out of their cars. So what they did in the future was they would drive to the police station and park their cars there. Mm-hmm. And then the cops would give them a ride over to the auditorium and give them a ride back to their cars. That's the only way they could do it. And in the crowd, they had water pistols filled with liquid plumber. They were trying to shoot it in the Freebird's eyes. And Buddy Jack Roberts was walking from the ring. He was the first one down after a match. And he got hit in the eyes with a liquid plumber. And he started running. And back in those days, they didn't have barricades or even the metal bicycle rack type of barricades. They had ropes. And he ran like a thief. He couldn't see where he was going. He hit one of the ropes right across his neck. And he clotheslined himself. And Gordy picked him up, threw him over his shoulder. He carried him in the back. Hayes said, fortunately, they had bottles of water back there. They could get the liquid plumber out of his eyes at the time.
Can you imagine that? Getting shot in the eyes with that stuff? My
Jesus,
God.
that would definitely tear your eyeballs up.
Absolutely.
And no wonder he looked the way he did at the end of his run. But anyway, Hayes said they needed opponents for the Freebirds, and nobody wanted to wrestle them. They called Tony Atlas. Watts did wanted Tony Atlas to come down and wrestle the Freebirds. Oh, no, man, it's too hot down there. It's too hot. It's too crazy down there. I don't want to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning he didn't want the fans to accidentally hurt him.
Right.
Yes, because they were nuts.
They were crazy. They believed it.
They believed it.
Yeah.
There was
that's back.
Kayfabe was a real thing, and the line between reality and kayfabe was solid.
The best part of this was JYD said he wanted to fight him blind and said, I'm going to fight you blind, but I want a dog collar match so you can't get away and I can't see you. So he agreed to the dog collar match, and it was held in the Superdome. 25 to 30,000 people filled the Superdome is what I read. I'm not sure how many, but it was sold out for what they had set it up for. Yeah, it was sold out.
People waiting outside the arena that couldn't get in and stayed there until after the match was over.
You know, the guy had the gun with the Freebird bullet engraved on it. You know who grabbed that guy? Boyd Pierce grabbed the guy.
Hey, attaboy, Boyd.
I just read that on Wikipedia. Amazing.
JYD in Louisiana was as big as it got. He was their Hulk Hogan, period. He was huge. Anyway, they get to the match. JYD's in the ring. He's got the dog collar. Michael Hayes got the dog collar. And he takes off his glasses to show you that he can see. And the whole place, they said the roof came off of that building.
Oh, yeah. What a pop.
That it was just hot tamale season. So they had the match, one of the greatest, short stints in history. They don't all have to be long, but this one to me is one of the ones that gets forgotten in the rules of wrestling history that really, if there was footage on it, it would help so much. God knows, I can't believe. You can't look back on it now and say, why didn't you keep it? Because they had to reuse all that tape. But can you imagine if they'd have kept most of that stuff, how good that would have looked?
Exactly. And they launched Junkyard Dog into the stratosphere. He got picked up by McMahon right after that. They launched Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, and dare I say, Buddy Jack Roberts.
I mean, launched all of it. Everything took off after this. It was as good as it gets. Such
Even
a great
all the way out here on the West Coast, man. We saw the Freebirds. We heard of the Freebirds. They were in the magazines. They were on TV. And same with Junkyard Dog. Freebirds, too. And the movie, what was it? Highlander? The guys remember the beginning of Highlander?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Showing that? Freebirds, baby.
Huh?
The Freebirds in the beginning of
They were in the Highlander?
Uh-huh. Yeah. When the main character is sitting in Madison Square Garden, waiting for the he's sitting up there and wrestling starting, and one of the it's like a 6-man match, and one of the Freebirds are one of the guy group that they show that's in there with them.
I haven't seen that movie in 30 years. I got to go back and check that out, man.
Very beginning. Yeah, check it out. It's good footage too.
Have you heard they're remaking?
That's what he's watching. That's what he's watching. Is the Freebird
Have you heard
match.
they're going to redo Highlander with Henry Cavill?
Really?
Oh
Superman.
God! Yeah. Some things just don't need to be redone.
That's what Hollywood does now, pal. They have no original ideas.
None
well,
anymore.
I'll give you that. But that was my JYD quick little thing. That's all I wanted to say about it. What else do we want to talk about real quick?
Watts was ready to go to War with Vince and had JYD in the locker room yelling, "Come on, boys, we got to win this war." And the next week he was with Vince. LOL. JYD he did call because Fritz von Erich wanted him to come down to world class. He couldn't do it. He says, "You want to get your boys over? Call the Freebirds. Here's their numbers. You call them up, and they'll get your boys over. And that's what he did. The Freebirds went down to world class, and they feuded with the Von Erichs, and that was a long feud, dude. They were unbelievable.
There was one thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick. Have you guys heard of Southpaw Wrestling Federation?
Yes, it's a satirical.
I don't know a whole lot about it though. Oh,
it was on the WWE Network.
I found that shit today and about died laughing. Died laughing on that shit. If you haven't seen it on the WWE Network, watch it. It's so worth half an hour because there's 4 episodes about half an hour long total.
Motorhead, it's something that the boys would do in WWE when they were sitting in catering. They would go and they would film Southpaw Championship Wrestling, and it was all based on early 80s, late 70s wrestling. John Cena was the announcer with a bad rug and this loudest jacket you'd ever want to see. And Fandango was his drunken play-by-play man who couldn't say anything. He was just passed out in his drink. And
he looks up at the camera half drunk. Come back, Sally! It falls back over. And John Cena, they're bleeping out every time John Cena snaps. And looks like, damn it, man, get yourself together.
Everything was based on old stereotypical Southern wrestling tropes. It was great. It's all like you said, it's only 4 half-hour episodes. You got to check it out. It's fantastic.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
I'm surprised Vince let that go.
Oh, so was I when I saw it. I was like, there's no way. Wow, this is a real thing. He must have been laughing his ass off. I was dying. I'd never seen it. I was like, Southpaw Championship Wrestling. What the hell is this? And I hit the button. I was like, that's John Cena. What is going on? I had a job for 6 weeks in Northern New York as an announcer. It was the best 6 weeks of my life, and I ended up here, an amateur hour.
What was the Luke Harper? Big Luke Harper was El Beardo. He was a luchador.
I think that's who that was. Yeah.
Yes. But they used the Mexican, the Spanish term for beard. Yes, whatever that was. And,
it was just great. They're at the leap year, the leap year battle. Yes. I'm not going to give it away because that's what it's all built around. So anyway, there was one thing to talk about.
Tonight. Right on.
It's getting close to the end of the year season awards for wrestlers.
Yes.
We're going to talk about this.
I got 3 to ask you. Who would you give your Wrestler of the Year 2023?
LA Knight.
I'll start with you, Motor. LA Knight. Okay.
LA Knight.
Interesting.
That would be mine.
Bottles, who you got? Wrestler of the Year.
What are the categories?
We're going to go just 3. Wrestler of the Year, Female Wrestler of the Year, and Tag Team of the Year.
Okay. Dude, I mean...
Maybe a 4th. Maybe we'll go Match of the Year as well.
Or New Star of the Year. If there was a new Star of the Year, I would say, even though he's not that new, I'd say LA Knight.
But he's not new. He's been there forever.
Yeah, he was in NXT.
He was in Impact, too. He's been everywhere.
I know Cornette has his feelings about the answer to this riddle, this conundrum. The best new star... God damn it.
Nope, Wrestler of the Year. Not the best new star, Wrestler of the Year.
Wrestler of the Year. God damn it. It's got to be either LA Knight or Cody Rhodes. Because Cody Rhodes is the biggest face in...
You got to pick one.
I'll go with Cody Rhodes.
Okay. All right. What about Female Wrestler of the Year?
Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
See, I knew that
Very
was
good, Motor.
Easy. I'm in agreement with both of you. I didn't give my Wrestler of the Year. And it's going to be controversial. I'm going Roman Reigns.
And there was when they did the PWI Insider categories that they're who's available, who are the candidates. Roman Reigns wasn't even on there for wrestling.
I know, but here's my thing with Roman Reigns.
On there, I'm not.
You want to see him lose so bad now. You want to see him lose so bad. Yeah. People want him to lose so damn bad. That's why I'm
changing my answer. I'm changing my answer. I'm changing my answer to Gunther. Because
that's a good one.
He's the longest reigning.
Why didn't I think that?
Longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. Hey, he's got that. And also, every match that he's in, you believe that him and his opponent are whipping the shit out of one another. You believe that they're killing each other.
That's for damn sure.
I believe it.
Look at what was it? Clash at the Castle. What was that? Where they were over in Scotland, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, man, that was brutal.
It was Sheamus and Drew McIntyre and Gunther, and they just three guys that just beat the hell out of one another. That could be, according to renowned wrestling analyst Dave Meltzer, who says that could be in the running for match of the year.
Okay,
I agreed.
Well, we all agree it's Rhea Ripley for female wrestler of the year.
Yes,
runaway,
tag team,
not even close.
Tag
team. I'll give you mine first.
Interesting.
Hit it.
I'm going FTR. They hit all the points. They've hit everything. Everything they've done on TV that I've seen has been gold. Everything I've seen has been gold. They have elevated everybody they've gotten into a match with.
I agree. I'm FTR too. Love those guys. Love Dax and Cash Wheeler. I wish I would like to see them in WWE now.
They'll never go again.
They'll never go back. Yeah, exactly. Bottles,
that's too bad.
How about you? Who's your tag team of the year? I know. The Ding Dong.
My tag team of the year, actually tag team of the modern era, would be the Mulkey brothers. Randy and Bill Mulkey. I'm telling you right now, they're pasty white and they've got the bleach blonde hair, but god damn it, they've got that spunk. The Mulkey brothers are my pick, even though they're old and infirm right now, sitting on a back porch somewhere down in Alabama. They are my tag team of the year. No, seriously, I said that for Beer Man's benefit.
I was just going to say, Beer Man's going to love you to death after that one. Absolutely.
He already loves me to death.
He does, doesn't? That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Beer Man warms the cockles of my heart. But folks, check out @CleaningTowels on Twitter. And welcome to the wonderful world of Beer Man. It's all about cheap cigars, drinking beer, and bad trucker hats. And the Mulkey brothers. But at any rate, yes, he's amazing.
Yeah.
I would have to say, if I was going to say FTR, I wouldn't say FTR because they're working for a failed indie promotion, AEW.
All right, so what are you going to give me?
They're working in the Outlaw Mud Show. I would have to say the Uso brothers because they were a tag team for the better part of the year. The Usos would have to be, they were undisputed tag team champions. For how long? In WWE. And it overlapped into this year until they split up. I'd have to say the Uso brothers.
Okay.
That'd be my second choice.
Just for argument's sake, the guy that's won it the most for Wrestler of the Year is Ric Flair. I think he's won it 5 times, maybe 6. He's won it 6 times by PWI.
Yes.
My match of the year is really going to shock the shit out of me.
God. I don't know where we're going match of the year. Why are you telling me this? Orange Cassidy versus John Moxley.
Yeah. Let's get real again. Let's get serious for a minute. Match of the year.
He had a bariatric on a pole match. Bariatric probe on a pole match. John Moxley, Orange Cassidy.
Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, WrestleMania. Hands down, the best match I've seen all year.
Was that this last WrestleMania?
It was this last one.
That was a hell of a match.
It should have closed night 1. It really should have in retrospect.
Okay. That's your match of the year?
That's where I'm going.
Well, Motorhead doesn't care for the women's wrestling, as we all know. It's not an open secret on this podcast.
I was a big fan of Glow, though. I loved Glow back in the day. Glamorous Ladies.
Watch that match. You will thank me.
I will definitely check that one out. My match of the year is going to it's going with Gunther.
Gunther, I figured you said that.
Versus Sheamus. That one right there. That was my match of the year. Love that match. Beautiful. Brutal.
All right, Bottles.
Love each other. Bottles, what do you got?
My match of the year would be Dirty Don Wayne versus Terrible Troy Taylor. That would be my match of the year.
That was a hell of a feud. Short-lived, but
Yeah,
That was a hell of it was short-lived. It was almost like
heat.
as short as a Michael Hayes Junkyard Dog feud. It was that
right.
short, but the
almost
heat
as
was
short
off the
as his
charts.
legs.
His 2 feet long legs.
Anyway, that's
I
all
would
I've got
say-
for tonight, boys.
Look,
Copy
I would
that.
say my match of the year would be Clash of the Castle, Gunther, Sheamus. What was the first Gunther
Wasn't it
Sheamus
Drew?
match?
Wasn't it Drew though? At Clash at the Castle, or was who was he fighting?
The 3 of them were in that match. It was a triple
Yeah.
threat.
That was a WrestleMania.
Yes.
That was WrestleMania. So
Yes.
the Clash of the Castle the Clash at the Castle battle was Sheamus
Roman Reigns versus
and Gunther.
versus no Roman Reigns. Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, for the Gunther. Yeah,
Yeah.
Clash of the
Sheamus
Castle was
versus
Drew
Gunther.
versus Roman.
Because Sheamus and Gunther, especially Sheamus, because he's so pale, had the war wounds of that battle for 2 weeks after that match. He was still that banged up
Yep.
and showed the scars and the blood blisters and everything else. And that had me so invested in watching it. I didn't even, no piss break here, pal. Even though the bathroom was, 10 steps away. I was glued to the screen.
Nice.
I was glued to it.
Last bone of contention. What are we talking about next Friday on the Flashback Show? Because this was a short one. We knew it wouldn't be long.
Well, we're not done because we never gave our Survivor Series picks on the last show. Even though that was on the thumbnail, that was billboarded in the description. We were going to have our Survivor Series picks.
All right.
On who is going to win what's going to happen. There's a lot of, I got to tee this up for you,
Okay.
Don, and Motor. Here's some notes from from Fightful Select. CM Punk had a meeting with a higher-up WWE official recently, but no context was given. As of Wednesday, Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't planned to travel to Survivor Series. And top talent were told CM Punk wasn't coming in this weekend when they asked. What do you think of that?
I don't think he's coming in.
I think
just
he
don't
is.
know.
I think that they're keeping. I think when Cody was going
coming
to
in
appear,
somewhere.
when Cody was going to appear for WWE in his first match, that was one of the best kept secrets ever.
All right. I'm going to try to make this quick because I'm trying to keep this as the Flashback Show. Right. So let's get through this quick.
Okay, Survivor Series. Let's do the first match.
Zoe
The,
Stark, Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea.
Rhea Ripley. Okay.
Rhea Ripley.
Gunther versus The Miz.
Gunther.
Because rumor has it that come Royal Rumble, he's going to start feuding with Brock Lesnar. That's going to be the WrestleMania match.
I
That's what
think
they
that's
said.
where he's going to
That
cost him his IC strap myself. So I'm going with Gunther. Carlito versus Santos Escobar.
Escobar.
Escobar. Rhodes, Rollins, Sammy, Uso, Orton versus Judgment Day.
I would have to say Judgment Day
I'm saying Judgment Day too.
because of shenanigans.
I've been saying it for weeks. Judgment Day, Randy Orton turns heel.
Now, will Randy Orton join the Judgment Day?
No, but he is definitely going to come after Uso to get his revenge.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
How about
Bianca-
Damage Control?
Ugh, dude.
Bianca Belair and who?
Shotzi, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair versus Bayley, Io Sky, Asuka, and Kairi Sane.
I think the big takeaway from that match will be
Bayley
Bayley
loses and it costs him. Yep.
she's gonna submit to her own pants. The pants are going to explode and it'll wrap themselves around Bayley's neck. And she's going to have to submit because of that gigantic ass of hers.
Watch that.
Bayley
right.
loses
At that
and
point,
gets her way out of this faction she's created. And this is how her face run begins. That's what
I'm
I
going
see.
damage control on that one. Damage control.
She posted on her Twitter today a picture of Asuka and Io and Kairi and Bayley and Sasha Banks. And she said, I always have a plan.
Yes, I saw that.
Now, do you think that Mercedes Moné / Sasha Banks will make an appearance?
Not a chance.
You never know, buddy. You never know.
Not a chance in hell. Not a chance. She burned that bridge to the ground.
I don't think so.
I do. I'm calling shenanigans on that one. They burned it to the ground. Let's talk about next Friday's show. I've got a couple of ideas.
Lay it on us, Don.
4 Horsemen turn on Lex Luger.
It's a good one.
Or Barry Windham, I should say, turns on Lex Luger and joins the 4 Horsemen. That's one. That one stuck in my head forever. I love that one. That's what I got. Now give me something from your area, Johnny. What do you think? What's been on your mind lately?
Shockmaster versus that wall. I'm drawing a blank here.
Well, speaking of Shockmaster, we could do Earthquake Hogan. That was a big angle.
Could do that. Steamboat Flair.
Now you're just cherry picking. You're just cherry picking now. Come on, get in the way. Get in the deep recessions of your brain.
You mean don't go with the low hanging fruit?
Just exactly.
How about Sting versus the NWO?
God, that'd be a long show.
Yes, it would.
That'd be a long ass show.
No, I've got one for you. It goes along the same lines as what Motorhead just said. Hogan, Goldberg.
That one would work too.
That'd be good. Okay, I think we got our 3.
Talk about the rise of Goldberg when he won the U.S. title from Raven in one of the most highest rated matches ever. And they right away, less than a month later, he's in a program with Hogan for the WCW Championship. I like to know I have to look up what the ratings were for that match, and they were off the frickin' charts. People said, high. Why are you giving it away on free TV? And Bischoff said, for the ratings.
WCW was owned by a TV company. They wanted TV ratings. They didn't look at it as buy and revenue ads. They didn't run it like a wrestling company.
Yep.
That's what ultimately doomed them. We talked to a guy about that.
We did. In honor of what's going to happen at the Survivor Series, I'm drinking a Pepsi.
Nice.
And in honor of Jim Ross, I'm drinking vodka also.
Okay.
Vodka. Jim Ross is a vodka man. But
he also likes his crowns.
Yes, he does.
Really?
Yes, he does. Gentlemen, that's all I've got.
Amazing stuff. You want to go over one or two nuggets of wrestling news that just broke out?
Only if it's old school, no current. We do enough of that shit on Thursday and it rots my brain.
Well, like I told Motorhead before the show started, on CM Punk's Instagram, he uploaded the latest remastered version of Cult of Personality. I don't know whether he's just trolling everybody or he's just put a little nugget out there. Meltzer said there's no shot at him coming to Survivor Series, to the WWE. Now he says there's a good chance that it could be happening.
On everything he said.
Yeah.
Good chance it could be happening.
So we shall see.
ESPN has even picked up the story of CM Punk coming to Survivor Series. They say the fact that Survivor Series is being held in suburban Chicago has done nothing to discourage speculation of CM Punk arriving there. Fans have been trying to mine his Instagram posts for clues like their Taylor Swift lyrics. Everyone's got a theory. Okay, everyone who still obsesses over the career of CM Punk has a theory. Many wrestling news publications have reported anonymous denials from within WWE regarding any interest in bringing Punk back, especially after the extreme messiness of his breakup with AEW. But we would be remiss if we did at least nod at the possibility of such an unexpected reunion and the epic moment it would create. It's Survivor Series. Stranger things have happened. And by that, we mean the gobbledygooker.
God, I watched that. I actually watched that Wednesday night.
The other day, Dawn,
I watched it last night.
That was such a good Survivor Series. Other than that shit, everything else about it was great.
Absolutely.
Fellas, what's the possibility of Shinsuke Nakamura coming to the ring and calling out that guy The guy he's been talking to the whole time. It's not an open challenge. He's calling out that man he's been talking to. And all of a sudden, that guitar riff hits. And you know what that first line would be, Don?
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing current.
Come
I'm
on.
not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Son of a bitch.
Flashback Friday. I'm
You
sticking to
left
my
me
old
hanging.
school. Old school.
Damn you, Don. You know what? I had enough of this shit.
Well, gentlemen, take us to the promised land.
Like and subscribe, please.
Please do, guys, and appreciate anyone that tuned in. SCM
Really
brothers,
do.
have a
Hope
great
everybody had a
weekend.
great Thanksgiving and a great
Yes,
Friday.
sir.
Like Mussolini!
It's only saying so long from the Sunshine State.